Welcome to the Property Elite podcast. I'll be your host, Jen Lemen, chartered surveyor and co-founder of Property Elite. Stay tuned each week for more on industry hot topics, market updates and new RICS guidance.
On the commercial real estate and valuation pathways, measurement is a technical core competency required to Level 2. This means that you need to have experience of measuring a variety of different property types and reporting your measurements to clients. Very few APC candidates will take measurement to Level 3, as this is a very specialist area of practice, only really satisfied by the work of geomatics candidates. Surveyors use a variety of measuring tools, the most common being the laser measurer or distometer, or disto. This works by measuring how long it takes a laser pulse to be reflected from a surface. Typically, a disto will be accurate to plus or minus 1.5 millimeters and can cover up to 200 meters. Know your distometer. Some distometers are very basic, literally just measuring dimensions. Others will do far more, including adding and subtracting areas, connecting with floor plan smartphone applications, calculating areas and volumes, applying geometry, taking minimum and maximum measurements, and translating measurements to CAD drawings. Steps to use a distometer accurately are: turn on the distometer. Hold the back of the distometer against the surface you want to measure from. For narrow or tight areas, you can sometimes change the setting to allow you to measure from the front rather than the back of the distometer. Check the surface that you want to measure to and point the red pinpoint laser onto this. Ensure that nothing is interrupting the laser beam and you are measuring to the right surface. If the surface is hard to set the laser on, it can help to take a breath and hold it while you are taking the measurement, rather like a shooter in the Olympic biathlon. This can help you take an accurate aim. Point and click, press the measurement button on the distometer to record your measurement. Take 2 or 3 measurements as a check, and if they all align, then take one or an average of the readings. If there is a large disparity, take a fresh set of measurements. Annotate your measurements on a printed or drawn floor plan on site. Ensure you have taken all relevant measurements before you leave the site. It's easy to miss small areas you may need to deduct. Back in the office, you can translate your measurements to an XLS spreadsheet to calculate floor areas. Tape measures and rulers. Steel and cloth tape measures are typically used for measuring narrow or complex areas, or where it is not possible to use a laser, in bright sunlight for example. Ensure the tape is held taut and between the correct surfaces you want to measure between. Try to take a printed floor plan, or draw your own, to the site to write your measurements on. Do remember to check that the floor plan reflects the actual on-site layout and configuration of the property. If it doesn't, then you may need to draw your own room. A floor plan may differ to the one you find on site for a number of reasons. For example, if the property has been subsequently altered or a tenant has fitted it out. Even better if the floor plan is to scale, so that you can cross-check your dimensions using a scale ruler. You might remember using a scale ruler at university, perhaps for drawing construction details or measuring off plans. Other tools. A measuring rod could also be used for tight areas or to measure behind an occupier's fit-out, without causing any damage or being intrusive. The same principles for using a scale ruler or a tape measure apply to using a measuring rod. Also make sure that the rod is fully extended, otherwise your measurements might come up short. When measuring land, other tools may be better suited, such as a trundle wheel or mapping software. If you are measuring uneven ground, then remember that the additional distance up and down will affect your overall measurements. It is generally a good idea to compare the trundle wheel and mapping software measurements for accuracy. Guidance. You also need to know what you are measuring and how to measure it. The key RICS guidance is contained within the International Property Measurement Standards, All Buildings, IPMS, and the RICS Guidance Note Code of Measuring Practice, 6th edition. Be aware that RICS has recently archived RICS Property Measurement, 2nd edition. This was previously the core measurement guidance for surveying professionals. The withdrawal of RICS Property Measurement 2nd edition, without the simultaneous introduction of new overarching measurement guidance, leaves significant unknowns in measuring best practice at the present time. So adopting IPMS All Buildings or dual reporting, with the benefits of IPMS emphasised, is advisable until new guidance is published. The appropriate measurement basis to adopt will depend on the asset type and instruction purpose. The IPMS AB measurement bases are IPMS 1 external measurements, IPMS 2 internal measurements, IPMS 3 for exclusive use areas within 3.1 for external measurement and 3.2 for internal measurement, IPMS 4 for internal measurements for selected floor areas with 4.1 including internal walls and columns and 4.2 excluding internal walls and columns. The Code of Measuring Practice Bases are Gross External Area, GEA, external measurements, for example build costs for various property types, Gross Internal Area, GIA, internal measurements, for example an industrial warehouse or a large supermarket, Net Internal Area, NIA, internal usable area measurements, for example for retail or shop. If you are unsure about how to apply for the various measuring bases, it can be a good idea to take a copy of the relevant pages to cite. This will show you what to include and exclude, where to measure for example the infernal dominant face, and any key differences if you are dual reporting.
Thanks for listening to the Property Elite podcast this week. Head to our website to check out our full blog, free and paid support resources and services, free consultation for every single RICS APC and AssocRICS candidate, and also ask us any questions you have via the website chat blog. See you next week.